Beginning of a story called Boys Town. Here's a story of my life. Whatever I did wasn't good enough. Anything I figured out too late. Whenever I tried to help, I made things worse. That's what it's been like for me as far back as I can remember. Whenever I was about to get somewhere, something would step in and block me. Whenever I was about to finally have something, something would happen to take it away. The story of your life is that you're not to blame for anything, my mother always said when I told her that. Out of everybody on earth, you're the only one who never did anything wrong. Whatever happens, it's always somebody else's fault. It is always somebody else's fault, I told her. Poor you, she always said back, screwed by the world. Hey, Dr. Jägermeister's calling, I used to tell her. Bottoms up. And she'd just go back to whatever she was watching. So what's the deal with dinner, sometimes I'd say. You have a busy day? Go to Pizza Hut, she'd tell me. That's hot, you fucking idiot, I'd tell her back. And then she'd say something else wrong the next time, just to frost my ass. I was 39 years old, living with my mother. I hadn't had a good year. When was your last good year, my friend Owen asked me. 1992? He wasn't doing too well himself, but he managed to come over once or twice a week and eat whatever we had lying around. I made some comment about whatever it was we were watching, and he said, "What do you like? Do you like anything?" He likes to complain, my mother told him. He likes to make trouble. I like to complain. I almost choked. What did I like? I like my dog. I liked hunting in the woods. I liked target shooting. I liked my kid when I was first getting to know him. I like women who weren't all about money or what I plan to do with my future. It'd be different with you if you ever got laid, Owen said during a commercial. My mother snorted. Hey, you're the one with the hand in your pants, I said. Oh, now he's going to tell us about Stacy, my mother told him. But I didn't say a word. My kid was down there in Stacy's house 1,000 miles away. I was supposed to send checks, but otherwise not come around more than once or twice a year. I mean, try to cram a whole year's worth of family time into 1 week. Maybe it'd work for you, but it didn't for me. Stacy said the kid was asking where his dad was, and that if I wanted to see him, I had to send money. It got so I let my mother answer when she called. They'd stay on the phone telling each other stories about me. You think that's bad, my mother would say. Guy in basic told me girls who weren't good looking were the smart move because they were more grateful and weren't as likely to run off with somebody, and that made sense to me. I met Stacy at Fort Sill and liked her family better than her. I was a 71 Gulf, which is like a clerk, hospital stuff, administrative. She was too. I'd be dropping off discharge batches, and she kept her head down when I teased her, but I could see her smile. We went out for 1 year and 5 months, and then we got married and had a kid. She was always saying she was going to move out, but she finally did the deed when I pushed her down the stairs. She was all like, "You could have killed me." And I was like, "Hey, you shoved me first." And there was a railing, and there was carpet. She said, "You don't shove somebody at the top of the stairs." And I said, "Well, what did you do to me?" And the cop who showed up was a guy who had a crush on her in high school, and he was all, "You can't be with this person. You want to press charges?" He's standing over her while she's crying at the kitchen table, and I'm in the den thinking, why don't you rub her fucking back? And she's all misgenerous. "No, just get him out of here. I don't feel safe." Out here in the fucking sticks, you don't meet anybody. I went to a single social in the basement rec room of the church. You had to fill out forms so they could match people up. These two women were running the thing. They asked if I could read and write. When they saw my face, they said it was just a question on the form. But then I always reminded myself I didn't have it so bad. Our next door neighbor's 19-year-old had some kind of thing, muscular dystrophy maybe, and they told her kids like him only lived to be about 21. When she came over for coffee with my mother, she told us to pray his heart muscle stopped before his lungs, because that'd be a less horrible way to go. I had all kinds of jobs. If it was some fucking thing no one else wanted to do, I did it. I worked in a hospital laundry. I washed pots and pans. I separated metals in a scrapyard. I drove a shuttle. That job had a little pin that came with it that said, "Martin, for Comfort Inn." Whenever I said stuff to my mother like I could see when my dad walked out, she'd go, "Where's your pin? Don't lose your pin." I started thinking I should just go off the grid. You know, if I wasn't using anything or spending anything, I didn't need to make anything. I'd grow my own garden and shit. In the winter there'd be rabbits and deer. I'd work out, read a book, improve my mind unlike the other fucking imbeciles around here. Who says you're not using or spending anything, my mother said when I told her. Somebody's cleaning out the refrigerator every 2 days. That'd be your friend Owen, I said, your TV pal. My friend Owen, she said, he doesn't come over to see me. Well, I never asked him to come over and see me, I told her. So why does he come, my mother said. Because he's a fucking bum like me, I told her. Because he got nothing else to do with himself. All right, she said, don't get excited. Don't get excited, I said. Don't get excited, she said. Put that down. Comforting was my last job. I took 2 days off to go to my grandmother's funeral, and they never let me forget it. Week I was back, even when I did a good job on something, all I heard was, you never told anybody you weren't coming in. You didn't let us know we were supposed to cover for you. You left us holding the bag. I'm working, and the supervisor's just standing there running me down instead of doing his job. I finally told him that kind of horse shit was all well and good, but you know, it was pretty unprofessional. You get lonely is what it is. A person's not supposed to go through life with absolutely nobody. It's not normal. The longer you go by yourself, the weirder you get, and the weirder you get, the longer you go by yourself. It's a loop, and you got to do something to get out of it. There was this girl, Janice, who I saw a lot at the store. I started talking to her because it seemed like she was always out, and I was always out. I went to the library a lot at the store, and I'd see her. She seemed like a good person. And when I was with her, I thought maybe I could do this, or maybe I could do that. Sit down with her at a restaurant with someone and eat like a human being. Take her back to my place and watch a movie or something if my mother would ever leave the house. Naturally, this Janice had an ex-husband who was a cop. As far as I could tell, I didn't see too much of him. I didn't need to be near any cops. Last thing I needed was somebody running a check on me. My mother and Owen didn't know about Janice. They didn't know I had a plan all worked out. That asshole here hadn't completely given up. One of the times I saw her in the library, she was taking out like 3 DVDs about Milo and Otis. I said to her, so you like dogs, huh? And she said she did. I asked her if she had one. She said yes to that too. I told her I had one. She asked what kind, and I told her. She said when she was leaving, maybe she'd see me walking it, and I told her maybe she would. I went over there twice with my dog, and I couldn't get myself to go up to her front door either time. The second time, I stood there talking to myself, and it still didn't work. And while I was standing there, my dog took a dump on her sidewalk. I'm going to stop there. Thank you.